Let me tell you what's rising in this moment so clearly. The very instant they came for you, when they lied, plotted, slandered, or tried to ruin you, they sealed their own downfall. They thought they were attacking a person, but they were interfering with something sacred. Your journey has been divinely orchestrated, and anyone who tries to tamper with that design inevitably invites collapse. This wasn't a misunderstanding. These weren't innocent mistakes. These were calculated moves, strategic, targeted, and drenched in ego. But here's the truth. They thought they'd get away with it. What they didn't anticipate was the consequence. What they underestimated was the power surrounding your life, not because you're perfect, but because you're purposed. You've never walked through life unguarded. You've carried a vibration, a light, a calling that's been protected since before they even knew your name. And when they rose against you, when they spoke against you, when they tried to throw spiritual darts at your peace, they weren't just crossing lines, they were trespassing on sacred ground. The world often mistakes humility for weakness. They saw your silence and thought you had no voice. They saw your peace and mistook it for passivity. But in truth, you were simply being preserved. And now the energy is shifting. The same people who moved in arrogance are watching their own structures crumble. Some of them believed your grace was an act, that your quiet strength was just surface level, but now the consequences are speaking louder than anything you could have ever said. You didn't have to retaliate. You didn't have to plot a comeback. All you had to do was remain still and let alignment work for you. There's something sobering about spiritual retaliation. Not revenge, but divine response. Because when you are truly chosen, truly walking in integrity, every act against you is met with higher justice. They weren't just defying you, they were defying the flow of divine order. And now that order is correcting itself. Here's the truth they failed to grasp. Your spirit is not ordinary. Your energy has always been disruptive, not because it's chaotic, but because it carries clarity. Your presence exposes pretense. Your growth reveals stagnation. And that's why they resisted you. You didn't attack their comfort, you exposed their illusion. Some saw who you were early on. They sensed your elevation and still tried to compete. They recognized your light and still chose to challenge you. That wasn't confusion. That was ego. That was pride. And pride, when it refuses to yield, always invites destruction. What they didn't know is you were being watched. Not just by people, but by universal forces aligning everything for your highest good. You stayed in alignment. You kept your hands clean. You trusted the quiet path. And now, the energy that once moved against you is returning, only now it's working in your favor. You were never asked to fight back. You were asked to stay planted. And while they laughed, mocked, and celebrated too soon, the ground beneath their intentions started to shake. Because sacred energy cannot be tampered with. You can't harm what's protected and expect peace to follow. They had warnings, whether through dreams, encounters, whispers from intuition, or people telling them plainly to stop. Those who moved against you were not unaware. They chose to ignore alignment. They chose chaos. And when you repeatedly trespass on sacred territory, the fallout becomes unavoidable. This isn't about punishment. It's about consequence. They triggered their own fall not because you cursed them, but because they refused correction. They misread your silence as powerlessness, and in doing so, they danced too close to a spiritual boundary that was never theirs to cross. And here's what makes your soul stand out. You didn't pray for revenge. You didn't want them to fall. Deep down, you wanted healing. You wanted reconciliation. You hoped they would awaken and understand what they were doing. But not everyone chooses growth. Not everyone accepts grace. You extended peace. You offered clarity. You gave room for things to shift. But they kept pushing, kept mocking, kept challenging what they didn't understand. And in doing so, they not only disrespected you, they disrespected their own chance to be elevated by the connection. Some of you were the turning point in their journey. You were the person sent to help, to bless, to uplift. Instead of honoring that, they saw it as an opportunity to control, manipulate, or sabotage. They tried to block the very blessing designed to uplift them too, and now they're living with the aftermath. They sabotaged access to their own future by dishonoring the person assigned to help them get there. The betrayal wasn't just personal, it was spiritual, and now the energy they released is circling back. Not because you sent it, but because that's how alignment operates. Energy returns to sender. Stay grounded. Stay elevated. Don't gloat, don't get drawn in, just observe. Let the wisdom of your silence speak volumes. You don't have to clarify your light. You don't have to fight back. You just have to keep rising. Because the line has been drawn now, and it's crystal clear who you are and what you carry. You are still chosen. You are still protected. You are still on path. Nothing they tried worked. Nothing they launched had permission to land. You are here, intact, evolving, strengthened, and the chaos they tried to send is now their mirror to confront. And if they ever awaken, if they ever humble themselves, there is still a chance for renewal. But that path is not yours to pave, it's theirs to walk. Your only role now is to stay true to your alignment and keep walking in peace. Let the divine handle the details. Your light remains, your heart is clean, your growth is undeniable, and your protection is secured. Stand firm in that, because no matter how loud their noise becomes, your peace, your purpose, and your elevation are louder. And now repeat this prayer with me. I honor the unseen battles that kept me standing when others tried to see me fall. May my spirit remain calm as divine justice unfolds on my behalf. I release the need to respond, knowing truth always rises. Strengthen my discernment to recognize manipulation disguised as apology. I pray for wisdom in protecting my energy and peace. May those who harmed me find awareness before it's too late. I surrender the need for closure and trust in divine completion. I affirm that no attack against me can succeed where purpose protects me. May I stay rooted in grace, not vengeance. Let me rise in peace, power, and protection, unmoved by chaos. Amen.